loud pop sounds, and I don't even realize I went ouch, but I didn't realize that I just got shot through the leg. And then I heard a bullet didn't realize it was a bullet right away, but what else would whiz by your head, if you know what I mean? That my ear literally started to like ring right away, and I was like, oh, this is fucked up. What the hell is going on? And then I kind of went into shock once I realized something's wrong with my leg. And, that was a miracle that I survived. I mean, I easily could have been crippled or killed, if you think about just a couple inches away, one way or another with those two bullets. And it was just some guy that was angry at the security guard at the Rainbow down the block, so I didn't see anyone. It's not like someone threw a gun in my face, but right. He was shooting randomly down the street, and it's just a miracle that, I wasn't killed. Because, I mean, some people go like, oh, bad luck, why were you there? You know what I mean? But if you think about it, well, where I was exactly where I was supposed to be.
Great luck. Great luck,
yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I was very, very pleased, obviously, that I was so lucky that this wasn't going to be, something really horrible for my health. It did hurt my leg a little bit, that I needed a meniscus surgery, which a lot of like sport people get. You twist your knee or something like that. But either way, I was going to survive it just fine. But I was kind of sitting around with the guitar a few weeks after it happened, and I just happened to started playing those chords and singing "I'll Survive." And I knew I already had probably my first song for BK3. Didn't know it was going to be called BK3, but I already knew, and it was one of the first things I worked on with Jeremy once we started getting together to write throughout 2004 and 5.
Yeah, it's an excellent song, and I just wanted to hit on that because I know it kind of holds a special place. And like I said, a lot of your fans and folks listening will definitely realize where that came from. You tell everybody that I've seen in interviews, everybody that you talk to, it's a fact that you're very proud of, being the guitarist for Grand Funk Railroad, and that is a full-time job for sure, with the way that they tour. And then, of course, you have your end where you just recorded the new album. I want to give you a break, and you definitely deserve one, Bruce, but if Grand Funk Railroad, if you get a little sliver of action in that schedule where you get a little break there, could we see some tour dates behind BK3?
Well, to be honest, Grand Funk only takes up really about a third of my year, if that, because we only do like 35 or 40 shows a year. So, the bands that really tour a lot are going to do over 100 dates in a year, no doubt, So I've always been able to kind of sneak away for a week or two or even 3 at a time and do things. And I'm obviously open to anything. I don't know exactly. I can tell you now that I noticed that the phone and the internet, I've been getting more interesting things coming in that I think the payoff has been all this attention towards this record and the buzz being really strong for it. But I definitely would like to get out there, and now that I'm doing this record release party gig on Monday in LA, some of the guys that I handpicked to be my band, I think would be great if I had the proper opportunity to get out on the road. So we'll see what happens.
Right, yeah, it's always something that, as you know, it's got to be done right if it's going to be done, so it's kind of hard to put those things together.
Right.
Wanted to talk about the years with KISS, obviously, which were very good for you. The music was excellent as well, Bruce, and you had a lot to do with that. Some of the ex-members of KISS have a relationship that's not so great. The Bruce Kulick relationship with KISS always seemed very warm. Obviously, you're still in touch with Eric and Gene. They're on the record, but are you still good friends with all of those guys?
I mean, I like to say I'm still part of the family. It was wonderful when I got to finally. I never saw Eric actually live in the makeup with the band, but I went to the Anaheim show here in LA back in November, and it was terrific. And there I was, backstage. I actually shared a lot of kind of funny pictures on my website. Stuff like where they keep the guitars and where the roadies hang out, and some of those kind of things. But, look, Paul, we still speak, and he's done the fantasy camp before that I've worked at a lot. And obviously, Eric I work with, we tour. I'm even friends with Tommy, even though, Tommy's he's got the guitar role, which, since he's the spaceman and doing Ace's thing, you know, I think he's really appropriate and does a great job at it. So I miss the guy, you know, I miss being in the band, but I still feel like I wave the flag and I'm still part of the whole KISS thing.
Right, and you do it very well, Bruce. Want to ask you a question that's kind of tied into that point blank. Does KISS belong in the Hall of Fame, Bruce?
Oh, I absolutely do think they belong. I know kind of from what I've read about the people that decide that it will be a long shot always, because even though they got mentioned this time, I remember reading this Rolling Stone article talking about it and how they were talking about who gets mentioned and who might get in, and it was apparently pretty controversial, the whole concept of having KISS in it. So as soon as I saw that, I was like, wait a minute, if that's controversial, how the hell are they going to make it? You see what I mean?
Right, exactly, yeah.
You know, why should there be controversy? If you want to bring them up, they deserve it, and they do deserve it. But, you know, look, there are plenty of bands that deserve to be there that may not ever get the opportunities. So.
And to kind of play on that, why I wanted to bring that up, Bruce, is certainly we here believe that KISS belongs in the Hall of Fame, like a lot of fans out there do.
Mm-hmm.
I personally believe that Grand Funk Railroad, you know.
Yeah, I was going to mention that too.
I was going to say, you know, so there you go. Bruce Kulick would have roles in two Rock and Roll Hall of Fame bands. That's got to be kind of unique. Well,
keep in mind that usually the way they do those things is that even though there may be more current members of one of the bands, of a band that's nominated that way, that will appear, but they usually look for the original guys, you know, that made it happen.
Right, yeah.
So even with Grand Funk, even though I'm entering my 10th year of doing dates with them, you know, whether or not the current band would have anything to do with it, or if it would just be Mark, Don, and Nell, which is, of course, who owns the name Grand Funk and who is the original Grand Funk, I wouldn't even care if I was just there in the crowd. I've worked with Mark, actually, at the fantasy camp, you know. And even though at first it was a little odd when we met, and, you know, I kind of repaired that rather quickly by letting him know that I'm there to help, you know, and I don't want you to think I'm competing with you. You know, I have a lot of respect for you. I'm here because of 12 years in KISS. I'm not here because I'm in Grand Funk, you know. And then we worked beautifully together. You know, he asked me to play bass, acoustic guitar with him for the Howard Stern show when we were promoting, you know, the fantasy camp and everything. It's funny, Howard never got a hold of that little thing. You know, there's Mark, you know, and I'm quietly playing acoustic guitar for your captain, you know, but I'm like his current guitar. I said something to Howard about it actually when I left, because I've met him before and I really dig his show. You know, I grew up in New York and the whole thing, but it's a funny business. What can you say?
Yeah. I was going to say, at the very least, you could say, you know, whenever a Hall of Fame, these two Hall of Fame bands, whenever they went to go to tap into another guitarist, it was Bruce Kulick. So I think